Hello, welcome to your OPS 345 Week 9 video. This week we're going to look at public key cryptography, and we're going to use that to install and configure our Apache server with HTTPS using TLS. So that's kind of what we're talking about. This is Lab 6. To do this, you need to have done Lab 5. If you haven't done Lab 5 yet, do that first. Right? Yeah. So public key cryptography. Something you've probably heard of before. Paired key encryption. It's also known as asymmetric encryption. The most common implementation of which is RSA, which is named after its inventors Ron Rivest, Adi Shamir, and Leonard Alderman. RSA has been around for a very, very long time, since the 70s, but it lays the foundation for all modern encryption, and we still use it today. RSA involves a public key and a private key. The public key can be known by everybody, and it's used for encrypting messages. The intention is that messages encrypted with that public key can only be decrypted in a reasonable amount of time using the corresponding private key. It's a key pair, right? We've been using these for SSH. It's the foundation of all modern encryption. We've been using it for our SSH key pairs to remote access between systems without a password. You're going to use it in Lab 6 to add to secure your web server, right? To add encryption with TLS/SSL. We're going to look at why there's a /SSL there in a minute. HTTPS. By default, any communication over the internet with HTTP is plain text on the internet. HTTPS gives you an encrypted connection to the web server, so you're encrypted end to end, which is why it's a desirable thing to configure. So I just sort of talked about this, right? HTTP, it's a protocol or set of communication rules for client-server communication over a network. HTTPS is the practice of establishing a secure connection using TLS/SSL over an insecure HTTP connection. Before it connects with a website, your browser uses TLS to check the website's certificate, TLS or SSL. They're all TLS now, as we're going to see in a minute. But we still commonly refer to them as SSL. TLS and SSL certificates show that the server adheres to the current security standards. You can find information about the certificate in the browser and see when it was signed, who signed it, and so on and so forth. Additionally, an encrypted connection displays HTTPS instead of HTTP, // in front. Now, that additional S kind of stands for secure, stands for SSL. The term SSL is still commonly used in industry, although everything we use is TLS, which we're going to look at in the next slide. SSL has been around for a long time, like a lot of stuff that we do, right? Version 2 was released in 1995. Version 1 was never published. TLS was the successor to SSL, and it first released its first version in 2006. All versions of SSL have been formally deprecated. TLS versions 1.2 and 1.3 are currently supported. So there you see right there, right? TLS 1.2 has been around since 2008, and 1.3 is a little bit more recent, since 2018. I guess we'll probably see another one in the next 5 years or so. I don't know. We'll see. So, that's all the theory you need for Lab 6. You're going to use a certificate authority, Let's Encrypt, which is totally free to use. It's great. To generate a TLS SSL certificate, and you're going to add that to your Apache server configuration, and then you're going to get an encrypted connection. Note that HTTPS, right, uses port 443. This is just as a heads up for the lab, whereas HTTP uses port 80. so we're going to have to make those appropriate changes in your firewall configuration and in your security groups in the lab. Next week in Lab 7, working on Lab 7 already? There's only 8, right? Next week, you're going to learn how to configure an email server, postfix specifically, and Lab 8 is going to build on that. We're going to add a web-based GUI to our... No, the web-based GUI is the assignment. The assignment and Lab 8 are going to build on Lab 7. Lab 7, we add IMAP, the ability to access our server and download the stuff using Thunderbird or Outlook or even your phone. So, with all that in mind, I'm going to pause, get myself set up, and we will work on the lab. Alright, so, was seconds for you, was a few minutes for me. I'm back, I've unpaused, I've got everything set up. I've got the Learner Lab open over here, still loading a few things up as I'm speaking. I've got, I'm going to have an SSH session open momentarily. There we go. This should work. Yay, we're in. Awesome. And I'm on my workstation. I got that fired up too, because we're actually going to need it in this lab. So, first thing to do. Locally, on your virtual machine. This is one of the things you need the VM for in this course. We're going to install certbot. Sudo apt install certbot. Certbot is what we're going to use to generate our TLS SSL certificate. So we're going to want it. It's really slow at the moment. We're going to say yes, that's fine. And look at that, it's installing a ton of stuff. I guess I'm just going to pause while we wait for that to finish. Wasn't expecting it to take that long. Alright, so that's done. And while I was waiting for that to finish, I logged into Bindistrar as well, because we're going to need that as well, something else you might want to do. Again, I hope you're not following along with this, right? That's not the idea. So I got Bindistrar open in a browser. I've got this up and running. We're good to go. So we're going to clear my screen so you can see everything that goes on. Run certbot. Now there's a few ways you can do this. You can actually, if you pass it the right parameters, have it auto deploy this on your server. We're not going to do it that way. So certbot, we want the cert only -- manual preferred challenges DNS. That's the command. So this is going to generate a key pair. An RSA key pair, like we just talked about. Hopefully I didn't mess it up. Well, we'll see. We'll see momentarily what's going on. It's really, really slow. Okay, let's try that again. Oh, well that's great. Okay, let's try it as root. Maybe that'll fix it. Hey, that fixed it. It needed root access. Look at that. So just stick sudo in front of that. We're good to go. So the email address you want to use. You might want to use your Seneca email for this one. That's what I'm going to do. Have we read the terms of service? Do we agree? Yep, let's say we do. No. No, we're not going to share our email. You can if you want. That's fine. Now, here's where things get interesting. Enter your domain name. So you're going to enter. Hold on a second. I'm going to divert from the lab instructions a little bit on this step. It says enter your Apex domain. We're going to do this for www. I don't think this is going to cause any issues later. You might want to stick with the Apex domain. It should be fine. So we need to deploy this now. This record, this is why we need, oh shit. Alright, let's do that again. Let's clear our screen and do that again. I meant to copy with Control C. Doesn't work in Linux, right? So, domain name. jason.carmen.ops345.ca. There we go. Oh, look, it just picked up from where I was. That's great. Okay, so we're going to create this. And we're going to make sure it works before we do anything. So we're going to add a text record. There's its value. So we're just going to get rid of the stuff that's going to be pre-appended, right? We need the Acme Challenge underscore www and the string. That's this here, right? Its value. So what's going to happen once we've deployed this? Certbot's effectively checking to make sure that we are who we say we are, and we do have the ability to deploy a record here. Once we've deployed this, and it works, which it did not work. Oh, because I got a dot there, I think. Give that a go. Yay, it works. So once it works, we're going to check it, make sure it works. You can use the tools that we've used before. You can use dig from the command line. You can use the Google Admin Toolbox. I'm just going to do that. I don't remember the URL for it, but here it is. I apologize, you might hear my kids screaming upstairs. It is what it is, right? So we're going to use dig. We want to look up a text record, and its name is going to be this right here. .jason.carmen ops345.ca. And look at that, it came back with our value. So that means we can finish the certbot command and it's actually going to work. It should work anyway. Apparently it did not work. Let me go troubleshoot that off screen. Right, so I gave it a go again. It looks like it's deployed correctly. Let's see how this. Yay! I guess give it a minute. Is the lesson learned there? Just pause and wait. So we have two keys are saved locally in etc let's encrypt live. One of them is the key, one of them is the certificate. So these are the ones we're going to need. Great. So we need to move those keys and set up Apache to use them. Let's move those keys first. We're going to go into OPS 345 keys. Don't have to change that directory, just makes it a little easier. I'm going to make a directory called certbot. And we're going to copy those keys. CP etc let's encrypt live. So everything to certbot. I need sudo because they generated it with root permission. What did I fuck up? Okay, there we go. So we actually just want, we don't want everything there. Maybe I fucked something up here. Let's encrypt live jason.carmen.ops345.ca/ we want which to priv key. And that's going to go into encrypt. Certbot. Called the directory certbot. There we go. And we want cert. Alright, so we're going to move those. Or we did move those, rather. We're going to rename them. So we're going to rename the private key. That's actually just, we're going to do this in a different order. We're going to change ownership on both of them. Then we'll rename them without sudo. Star. That should work. Oh. That, JM Carmen. We don't need recurse. We just need star. There we go. We should be able to do this now. So we're going to rename, which one? Priv key to your username ops345.ca.key.pem and cert to your username ops345.ca.cert.pem. There we go. Now we need this on our server. So let's do that. I'm already logged in. We need to install mod SSL. -y because I want to install it. There we go. Boom, it's done. Nice. Let's copy them into our home directory, or you know what we could do? Give me a minute. There's a lot of commands to dig through here. Could have just grabbed it from the other one. This one here. There's actually an easier way to do this, but I'm going to do it this way. We're going to set up an FTP connection. That didn't work. Okay. We're not going to use SFTP. We're going to use SCP. I was going to try to do it through SFTP. So we're going to use SCP. Look at that. So we need -p 2211. What are we going to SCP and where is it going? Oh god, this is a long ass command. I was trying to steal what I had, but that didn't work. So we're going to use our that file, and we're going to copy our certbot keys. Oh, I already fucked something up. Hold on. Remember, I did those as WW, right? So they have to be this. Copy. See? Even when you know what you're doing, you make mistakes sometimes. And that's okay. You can learn stuff by making mistakes. There we go. Whoops. There. Mine's a little bit longer, but that's okay. So let's SCP-P 2211-I. One level up, OPS 345. First key.pem. What are we going to copy there? www.jason.carmen.ops345.ca.star to jason.carmen at www.jason.carmen.ops345.ca colon. We want it to go in our home directory. Will this work? Let's try it. Okay. Oh. It's a problem with relative paths sometimes. Interesting. Alright, I'm gonna troubleshoot this off camera again. I'm gonna pause, I'll be back, let you know when it works, so I'm not wasting your time in the video. I figured it out, had the wrong username, because I set my username on my EC2 instance to be JM Carmen, which was my student username when I was a student. So, we'll go back over here, we're doing LS. There's our keys. Awesome. We got it. So now we got to put them in the right place. So sudo-I, right? Go into interactive sudo mode. They've got to go in the right place. What directory am I in? Not my user's home directory. There's my files. Okay, so I'm going to copy. Make sure you get the right one in the right place. The cert first to etc pki TLS certs, and the key to etc TLS or etc PAI TLS private. There we go. Now we need to edit the SSL configuration file, one of the configuration files for Apache. Fi etc httpd conf.d ssl.conf. There we go. So we're looking for SSL certificate file. There we go. Whoops. And this is certs www.jason.carmen.ops345.ca.cert.pem. And this one is www.jason.carmen.ops345.ca.key.pem. Save that. We're going to restart Apache. Do a status. Make sure it's restarted. It looks like it did. That's awesome. It's listening on port 443 and port 80 now. That's great. Two things we have to do. I'm going to disconnect. We got to go into our router. We need to add an IP tables rule. I'm going to do it the easy way. So this one right here. Whoops, we're going to yank that, and we're going to redirect port 443 now. There we go. And we got to configure our security group to allow incoming port 443 traffic. Two security groups, right? And then everything should work, if I've done everything correctly. Hopefully I have. So router security group, first of all, I need to edit our inbound rules. We need to add a rule to allow HTTPS from anywhere. Save. And you can leave the port 80. There's no real benefit to removing it. It's fine. Our WW security group. We're going to edit our rules. We're going to add a rule HTTPS, which is port 443, from our router security group. Whoops, that's not the right security group. Router security group. There we go. We're going to save. And now, if we type jason.carmen.ops345.ca, that's interesting. This should work. Oh, I know what I didn't do. Hold on. Stupid thing. A really stupid thing. To confirm, my rule's not there, right? I gotta restart the service because I edited the file. I didn't add the rule. So now everything should be happy. Let's give that a go. Look at that. Connection is secure. We click on the certificate. We can see, yeah, it actually did work for www. That's awesome. we're good to go. We're good to go. Lab is done. You didn't see the error that was in the lab instructions because we fixed it. If you go to Nextcloud, that should work too. Yep. Awesome. So, there's your lecture and lab demo video really quick. Quick overview, things to double check. If you've gotten to the point where you've configured your certificate and deployed it to the server and you're still not getting things, right? Check your firewall, or your firewall, your IP tables configuration on router. Make sure you're port forwarding port 443 to www. You can leave the rule for port 80. Also, something that might break this, if you've done the assignment, notice I don't have the assignment rules here. I stripped them out because it breaks things. If you have the rules from the assignment that port forwards randomly, it's only going to work on the one server, right? So remove those random rules from the assignment. Just add the port 443 to www. Other things to check are your security group rules. So WW security group should have a rule that allows port 443 from your router security group, and your router security group should have a rule that allows port 443, oops, I clicked the wrong thing, from anywhere, right? From 0.0.0.0. There you go. Everything works, right? To submit, you could show this, right? You don't need to see, as long as I see the lock there, I'm fine, but if you open that, and that's cool too. There's your screenshot. Whether it's the Nextcloud login page or your default page, doesn't matter. Either works for me. Take care, be safe, have a great week. I'll see you this week in the lab. Bye for now.